Hey, I'm Weekend Gabe, and you're checking out Weekend at Gabe's, and thanks for checking out this latest episode. While you're here, also follow us on these social medias at Weekend Gabe, at Weekend at Gabe's, and also at The Real Sam Crane. Thanks for checking us out.
Word up. All right, let's reset before we get to our next guest. You're checking out Weekend at Gabe's, Weekend Gabe, the real Sam Crane, super producer extraordinaire. Don't forget to give us a follow on these socials, Weekend Gabe, Weekend at Gabe's, and the real Sam Crane. Put all three into your life and make yourself, what is it, a timeline milkshake. Some sort of shake. Shake it up.
Timeline milkshake? Oh my God. They need to take you out with the trash. I'm so glad that we have a comedian on next. Dear Lord.
That's right. It is Thursday night. So what does that mean, Sam?
It means the return of Thursday Funnies. Wah, wah.
Here we go. Hopefully our next guest will help us figure this out and get us a better name. But it's a pleasure to introduce to the first time the Weekend at Gabe's, friend of the show, friend of mine, Jay Davis, here to talk about Creative Hustle. How are you, sir?
Hey, what's going on, fellas? How y'all doing?
What's going on?
Good man. Good man. Thursday Thunnies. We're gonna need your help renaming that, rebranding that, using your creativity at some point. So whenever it strikes you, let us know.
Okay, Thursday. What is it called? You got right now?
So
Thursday
it used to be
Funnies.
Friday. It used to be Friday Funnies during the pandemic when comedy clubs wasn't open, right? And we was doing it, and it was great. We were having a good time with the alliteration. Then comedy clubs opened back up, and suddenly the comedians didn't want to come on Fridays because they was busy. So we had to do Thursdays, and Thursday Funnies was the best that we could come up with.
Okay. Thursday's a hard one. Like if it's Wednesday, you can do like Wild Out Wednesdays, Wacky Wednesdays, but Thursdays
So we're fucked is pretty much what you're telling us.
Yeah. Maniac Mondays, Mad Mondays.
Or we can just call it Maniac Mondays on Thursday and just completely confuse the shit out of everyone.
Yeah, just really be out of left field.
Right.
Man. Jay, thanks for giving us your time on here to talk about your new endeavor, your pilot episodes that you recorded last couple weeks, Creative Hustle with Rodney Perry and a number of super comedians, and also incorporating your sketch work as well. Let's start there for a moment because you were doing your own independent movies. You and Diesel, you guys were this collaborative effort, this team, and now you're sort of stepping out. And this is kind of like your second effort to get a pilot of yours, Stepdads, to get off the ground. What did that experience teach you about this next opportunity to try to get another one of your great ideas into some TV outlet or producing company?
I didn't realize kids grow so fast. So filming Stepdads, and we shot 2 episodes, and then when we came back, we went through COVID. That hit, and so we couldn't film. We were shut down, and when we could come back and shoot, the kid is like taller than me now, and he got a mustache. I'm like, oh boy. So we had to put makeup on his mustache, and I had to do all my scenes sitting down because I'm like, the kid literally is taller than me now. So I learned we working with kids, you better shoot that stuff fast.
As a pro tip, anybody out there, producer or whatever.
Kids will grow up on you. His voice is deeper. I'm like, hey man, your voice is deeper than mine now.
Were you guys able to pitch Stepdads, or just because of the way things happen? Like
just the way things happen. It is available on Amazon right now. So Amazon is streaming on Amazon Prime right now. It is just once everything's settled, we're gonna pitch it to a few more streaming sites. But like COVID kind of like ruined a lot of stuff for a lot of people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what about this this new endeavor? This isn't a show or a sitcom show like you guys are doing with Stepdads. You guys are really taking it back to essence of just pure comedy with comedians and incorporating, like I mentioned, the work that you were doing and your own sketch work that is available online. So why is this the perfect time to blend those two together?
I've been wanting to do this for a long time, and I kind of did like a hybrid version of this like 10 years ago to see if it'll work. I saw like my first 3 sketches I did, and I had like 2 musical people, and I'm like, wait, this is a good mix. But over the years, I didn't have the opportunity to do it on a level that I wanted to do it on. And so, like, Gabe, you were there. It was like we had 8 cameras shooting the live performance. So,
right.
It came out great. Like, I look at some of the footage, and now was like the perfect time to do it.
What is something that like people sitting at home who have never done TV, never made a show? What's something that they take for granted, like out of that whole production thing? Because you talk about timing, you talk about equipment, people, and then getting the crowd in there. There's a lot of moving parts. What would you say to somebody who has no experience?
So, like Gabe, you were there on the 24th. You had no clue that everything that could have went wrong that day went wrong. Everything. Like from when I woke up to 2 acts canceling, and I had to find 2 more to replace them. Then it was raining outside. Then the theater wouldn't let people inside the building without a proper COVID test while it was raining. Then they decided to do a sound check. Well, we couldn't do our sound check. We had to wait for the play above us to stop so we wouldn't disturb that play. All this happened, but we were able to pull off a great show. But no one would know how much work went on behind the scenes with like my team getting everybody like together. No one knows how much effort went into that.
I hope this is okay to share, but it was mentioned that one of the other issues you had was that you guys had members of the band not show up, and you guys had to replace.
We were the first taping on the 10th. We had a rehearsal scheduled, like a run through. This was our first show, so we wanted to do a run through, make sure the sound was right with the band. The band leader didn't show up. He called me. He said I was en route and never came. So this was Thursday. The show was Sunday. So I had to make a decision. Do I pray that he's going to come Sunday and take his word for it, or find a new band? So we found a new band in 2 days, and they were able, I found a band director, and he put together a band in 2 days, and it worked out great.
Crazy.
So, and that was the band that you saw was the band that showed up on the 10th. But
they were fantastic. Yeah, they were fantastic.
Exactly. They were great. But that's one of the other things, like, this has not been an easy road, but I'm thankful for going through it.
Word.
Your career sort of starts in a weird way because it's right on the right after your first divorce. Hopefully, your only divorce.
Yeah, I pray.
Shout out to your wonderful wife who made sure I got in on Sunday.
Yeah.
But it was like after your first divorce, you kind of found yourself in a weird place, but like comedy became like sort of your healing component, and it just became like fully engulfed in it. Talk about like what that meant for you at that moment, and how it kind of developed you into the artist you are now. Because I don't think you had like you weren't doing acting before any of that stuff, right?
No. It's like everybody at some point in their life, they got to figure out what road they're gonna go. Well, I'm gonna do the 9 to 5 thing, or I want to do something on my own. I want to be my own boss. I want to create. Everyone has to make that decision. Sometimes it takes people till they get 40 to make that decision, or some people get it early, and it's just like everyone has to figure it out. And that's what it took for me to go through that, just to figure out, all right, this is one I'm gonna give this a try. I have nothing else to lose at this point, and give it a try and see what happens. And it's been working out.
Yeah. Word. You seem to always have like the craziest shit happen to you. Like I heard a story said like you met a girl and she was like, she wanted to take you back to the house, and she was like, you down for whatever? And you're like, yeah, sure. And then you finish the story because I think it's fantastic.
Yeah,
it's awful,
like,
but it's fantastic.
Actually, I turned it into a sketch, and I added like some extra elements to it. Well, basically, the girl had a roommate, and it was like a dude. And so, like, she brought me back to the house for like basically a train. When it's 2 guys and 1 girl, it's a train. It's not a 3. and I don't know what his role in the train was. I didn't know what he was gonna do to me, but I didn't want to find out. So I left that scene. Like it was 2 girls, maybe, but a guy. He was a big buff dude. I'm like, oh, this dude's gonna tear me in half. So I got out of there.
Jesus.
What was the? Wasn't there like a handicap person who popped up somewhere?
Yeah, that was the part I added because the girl did have a handicapped sister, but she didn't stay there. But I'm like, what if the handicapped sister with a shit bag showed up trying to get part of this threesome?
Yo, and then my favorite is that you made an actual anime of this, and I think this is fantastic because you take a lot of your stories and you guys, and I want to ask about who's doing your animation for you, but it was a story of like you again always have these weird sexual experiences where you're I think you're having sex with somebody and then you find out that there was already a condom inside of the person.
This is like mid to late 20s, like right before I like settled down. But I was with a girl, we had sex, and she felt like something's wrong down there. I'm like, what's going on? I'm like, she's like, I don't know. And so I just, being a gentleman that I am, I decided to give it a look. And I found a condom in her. Like I could see it hanging out a little bit. As I pulled it out, and I'm like, yeah, here's the problem. She's like, oh, it came off. I'm like, this is not mine. Like I threw mine away. And so it was basically a condom of somebody she was with. I don't know how long ago, but it was another man's condom, and it didn't register that I was holding a used condom in my hand.
Yeah. How do you find yourself in these situations? I don't. It's like that would be like one person's life story, but you have like 10 of these.
I think it's God's way of saying, like, you know what? This is your lesson. Like, don't do like. I didn't have no business messing with her. I knew, when you go to a girl's house and she has bed sheets for curtains, like just walk away. That's not a house. That's like that's a trap house. That's a dope house, but it's not a home.
Me nervously looking at the bed sheets that I hang as curtains over here. I'm like, you know what? I'm a walking red flag, everybody. I saw you say in another interview that sort of the 1 minute, like how people are funny on Instagram in like a minute. That's not what you do. You quote, and I quote, I think in movies.
Yeah.
What does that mean to you?
I think bigger than 1 minute stories or whatever. Like I'll see something and I like in my mind envision like what happens after a certain point or whatever. So it's not like I can't like a lot of, and I give people credit like to come to put stuff together in 1 minute. That's great, but it's like it's hard for me to just do something that makes people think and have like a message at the end in 1 minute.
Yeah. It's sort of in this climate now. You might have noticed that there's a lot of sensitivity around, certain groups, certain demographics. Obviously we see what's going on with Dave Chappelle and the news, and everyone has an opinion about that. Is there a fear factor? Because I know you kind of have some sketches that some may view as offensive. What is like the fear factor, or how do you gauge when you think that you might have crossed the line?
A lot of times, like as recently, like we've been on set and it's been situations where we're like, let's reword this or let's not make that face because this might come off as offensive. For the most part, I've learned to if you're telling a joke about a certain person, race, whatever, make sure that person's laughing at it. So like I had a sketch where it's a lesbian, a stud lesbian, and I could just went out and got like a regular woman and told her to be a stud lesbian, but instead I actually found a stud lesbian. I'm like, hey, does this offend you? And she read the script like, no, it's hilarious. Okay, cool. You want to be in the sketch? Or I found like an actual person that's handicapped, and one of his lines was like, all legs matter or something like that. But it's just like you have to be. Everyone has to be in on it. It can't be like if you're afraid to tell a joke around a certain nationality a sexual orientation. If you're afraid to tell those jokes or you think it might be uncomfortable, then maybe you shouldn't be telling them.
That's fair.
Yeah.
I mentioned like who the animations that you have posted up, like who is doing those? Because you actually did that for the proposal. I think was it the proposal of your wife, right?
Yeah. My friend Omar, the guy who actually the director of Creative Hustle, he does animation. He started off doing comic books, and when I did the Condom one was my first animation. And he's like, "Hey man, I think I can do that." I'm like, "Do what?" Like cartoons. I'm like, "Okay." He's like, "Can I do your next one?" I'm like, "Cool." And so I had it written out, and I did the voiceover already, and I just sent it to him, and he like did the animation. I'm like, "How did you learn how to do this?" So,
That's dope.
so yeah, he's just been going at it. We had put it on a brief hold because of this project, but probably like in a month or so, we're gonna get back to it.
Yeah.
I was gonna say that now that you're shooting sort of these longer form, longer shows, sketch shows, do those other elements of comedy, like even a comic strip or even pure stand-up comedy, do they excite you in the same way? Or is it's got to be official?
No, it's all funny. Like whenever it's a situation, like I have sketches like people haven't seen, and it's like whenever it gets to a situation like I want to put out a sketch, or I'll show people this sketch, or I want to do something different. And whenever I get bored, I'm like, let's try something different. So yeah, it's always something fun to do.
Word.
And I love getting people. It was hard. Like a lot of the sketches that Gabe saw, like no one ever seen those before. And like I seen, you can send someone something like a link to look at, but you don't know if it's funny. Like they were like, LOL doesn't let me know that you really laughed.
It's not the right words, yeah.
Right. So when the actual live audience laughed at them, I'm like, all right, I'm on to something. They like them, cool.
Word.
So what's as your so you guys shot 2 episodes and back-to-back weekends. Is there going to be a third? Are you guys going to continue to do this, or is it like you're just going to work on these 2 and edit them down and start shopping
basically, all the stuff that we shot on the 10th and 24th, we're combining, and so actually we're going to have 6 30-minute episodes. So each episode is going to feature 2 comedians, 2 sketches, and 1 performance. So we have like once we put it together, it's going to come out to 6 30-minute episodes.
Who was the singer that I saw on Sunday? He was absolutely phenomenal.
Oh, Slick J. Adams. He's been in Chicago for a while. And look, man, you glad you didn't bring your wife because you would have had some words for her. Like I saw Crystal dancing, and I'm like, hey man, it ain't that good.
He was bringing it. Like he had all the women just like in the palm of his hands. Like
I'm like, I feel bad. Whoever has to clean these seats up, I feel bad. Like, wow. Like, and then he came back for an encore. I'm like, hey man, stop the singing shit. But it was great.
Oh, he absolutely killed.
You don't know the power of R&B until you witness it firsthand. You're like, you know what? I'm gonna get a divorce.
The best part was there was a thick auntie in the front.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was, which was absolutely hilarious.
Yeah, the ladies definitely appreciated him.
All right. Before we get out of here, I just want to circle back to because you're pretty open about your divorce. What are some things that you need to do to not get divorced? And through Jay Davis's eyes and ears, mouth.
Don't cheat. That's the number one thing. Like,
that's an easy one. Don't do that. Hey.
Yeah. And you gotta be with somebody who's not afraid to call you out on your bullshit. And so that's the main thing. Like, guys, we need that probation officer. Like, hey, you don't need to be going out too late. It's like it's 9:30. Like, you're gonna be sleepy in the morning. You know what? I am gonna be sleepy in the morning. I'm gonna So all guys need that probation officer. So don't cheat and just listen to somebody. Like, nobody wants to be alone for the rest of their life. And there's nothing out in these streets right now but like STDs and bullets, and you don't want to catch either one of them.
You heard it here first, folks. STDs and bullets, and you want to catch neither one.
Work it out. If you're going through it with your partner, work that shit out. You don't want to be getting coughed on now.
That's fucking hilarious. All right, Jay Davis, keep us posted on what happens next and when we can see the shows fully edited and presented, because I can't wait to see all of them. I know I only seen a piece of it, but it looked phenomenal. Looked super professional. Everyone was into it, so I imagine like you guys are gonna do well.
Yes, thank you so much. I'll definitely keep you guys posted.
All right, Jay Davis joining us here on Weekend at Gabe for our Thursday Thursdays. Thanks for sharing this laugh with us. We appreciate it.
All right.
Peace.
All right, Jay Davis wrapping up our week and also Thursday Thunnies. Oh man,
an incredible week. This is back to what we do. We got back to a formula this week, Gabe. We got back to a formula. We did Tuesday. We did all rappers. We did all rappers on Tuesday. You can go back and watch the episode. There's nobody else but rappers on Tuesday. And then today we did something incredible with Mashawn Ali, even though it was a brief period of time. But we got some great deep thoughts out of him, and that was excellent. And we returned to Thursday Thunnies, what we do best, Gabe. So we did it. And we got a big week of shows next week. I don't want to preview anything because things are top secret, Gabe. These things are top secret. And you know what else I don't want to preview? Our 100th episode. Because it's top secret, Gabe. It's top secret.
It's not top secret if you tease it that it exists.
Hold on, Gabe. They know that they're eventually going to have to get to 100th episode. You know what I mean? It's just like eventually we would have to get to episode 50. And we did that, Gabe. We did our 50th episode with JL Barrow, I believe. And you can quote me on that.
Oh yeah, for the fathers that bought a pot. Yep. This would be my second show that I've done in my life that I've got to 100 episodes. So this would be really cool. So they can imagine the number of hours I think I've done my 10,000 hours. I'm just gonna say that.
Well, you haven't done 10,000 episodes. You've clearly only done 200. And each episode is roughly 1 hour, Gabe. So I think you're actually behind on your quota. Maybe we need to do weekends too. Maybe we need to actually do Weekend at Gabe's on Saturdays.
We got to bring weekend brunch back, yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
we'll see how that goes. Well, maybe during the holidays.
During the holiday season, we'll catch up. That's what's up.
But stay tuned to our social medias for updates on the show at Weekend Gabe, at Weekend at Gabe's, and the Real Sam Crane across all social media platforms. We kept it consistent, so you can find us every and anywhere. It's pretty easy. So thanks for everyone joining us this week. Fantastic. If you missed anything, head over to our YouTube show page. Subscribe while you're there. Check out all our past guests that jumped on and hung out with us this week. Just a fantastic set of guests. Shout out to Sam for putting this week together. So we'll do it again next week right here on Weekend at Gabe's. Don't forget to share, support, and show love. Sam, it is that time to hit the music.
Is it time? I love time. I have so much time. I love it all the time.
Did somebody call a doctor?
Dr. Jones. You know what I'm saying? Archaeology, baby. I'm teaching lessons. Gabe cannot stop COVID-19 with that stethoscope, but he will try.
Let me see.
Give it an honest effort.
Yep, there's a beat. I hear a beat. All right, everyone, enjoy the rest of your week. Be safe. Later.
Hey, I'm Weekend Gabe. Thanks for checking out this latest episode of Weekend at Gabe's. Click on any of the links swirling around my head and also hit the subscribe button while you're here. Thanks for checking out us here on YouTube.